to the greatest of the greatest. A podcast that you never knew you needed. With interviews from people you have never met, or maybe you have once or twice. Asking questions and knowing more than you want to know about them. You are listening to Full Buddy Cast.
All right, now we're good.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, guys, thanks so much for listening. This is Travis Kenny from Full Buddy Cast, brought to you by Cole Street Brewery, 1627 Cole Street. Go check them out. Also go to Mazatlan, say hi to Andy. And also Bordeaux Wine Bar. And then also, real quick, I'm going to throw this out there just because I've got my number one Patreon on right now. Unless he's deleted it. I
would think you'd know by now.
I haven't seen it in a while.
I feel like you watch that thing pretty.
Dude, every once in a while it'll pop up, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, we got Ira Potter on the Mizike right now as well.
Thanks for having me.
And this is going to be kind of a guest one. We thought about this in the past. I think I have to go through our messages because there was a few ideas that people kind of were kicking around.
Really?
Being irrational, irrational.
That's a stretch, but I mean, you're. I'm pretty sure that your wife came up with a.
Yeah.
One.
That's what it was. I got a message. I looked through our messages.
It was a group text
between all of us.
I'm pretty sure
you were in on this group text.
I think.
Okay, well, we'll figure that out. Real quick, Patreons, thank you to Kellen Hall, Holly Graff, Eric Madrid, Adam Kenny Art, Seth Loop, Cassie Spencer, Amanda Keating, Ira Potter, Shekinah Sarver, Jared Skelly, Homer Robertson, Veronica Lara, Big V, Ben Illman, Jamie and James Roberts, the dashing Jamie Kenny, Apollo Dolo, I think, Dago, I don't know. Anyway, and then Jackson Zurihoyok. It's a new one, and I think they're made up. But now let's go check out our messages real quick, and there you are. I got another one too. Okay, so let's see here. Hey, December 23rd. We talk about your holidays for a moment. We got to talk about a few other things.
By the way, that's a lot of Patreons. Do you even work anymore?
I don't. I don't. I
got the life.
No, I definitely.
The life of a professional.
I definitely always work. Wait, are we texting buddies?
Yeah.
We don't have a.
No. Yeah.
Do we have a phone number? Maybe that's what it was.
I think.
Right on. Wait. Starts at 6. Try to get you out there.
I might not have passed the background check.
I remember talking about this. I remember. Maybe that's another one.
Oh my gosh.
I remember.
They flow out of you.
Just disgustingly.
Incredible.
Disgustingly. Dude, I don't know where those messages went. Anyway, we got Ira Potter on the mic. What up?
Sir.
How are you?
I'm well.
You sound good.
Thanks, man.
Racing Dad shirt. Perfect conversation. Are
Yep.
those fleeced pants, by the way?
No.
Do you own any fleeced pants?
No, but I might as well. I wear
I
wear the pants under it. Well, they're basically tights. They're like
leggings,
like new school long johns. It's a must-have.
Like Under Armour type stuff.
Yeah.
Like keep it cool.
Yeah,
the 360 cool.
Well, but these are specifically to keep it warm though, because it's.
So you don't wear them in the summer.
No.
Okay.
Yep. October through March.
Just put them on. Enjoy them. Sweat it out just a little bit.
But
you're warm.
Sometimes, but because I never really know when I'm going to get stuck outside. That's just a thing in my line of work.
Yeah.
Like, I could just be stuck in a parking garage when it's freezing trying to fix frozen pipes and stuff. So a couple weeks ago, actually, I ended up working like 90 hours.
No.
It was brutal.
Are you salary or do you get...
No.
You're
hourly.
Okay, so then you just afforded a race car, is what you're just saying.
I did.
You just bought a race car.
Yeah, I did. I bought 2. Yeah, I have a sickness, but it's a lot of fun. But yeah, no, it was. I pulled like 2 all-nighters. I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous. And, because New Year's Eve was a holiday.
Yes.
Technically, so I got double time for New Year's Eve, and then New Year's Day was a holiday.
Did the snow cause you to work a lot more?
Yeah, because everything okay, so I work on fire sprinkler systems, and people's if you have a sprinkler system in your house, your apartment, whatever, it's basically plastic pipe usually, and you're not gonna ever see the pipe. It's up in your attic, right? Well, if it's not insulated exactly the right way, if it gets down to 18 degrees or so, like it did,
it's burst.
That shit freezes and breaks, and then I mean it's a. I mean, I don't want to scare people out of getting fire sprinklers like installed in their house, but we got
our sponsor right now. We got fire sprinklers. Right. Don't get them.
NFSA, National Fire. Do not. The amount of catastrophic water damage was absolutely mind blowing. I mean,
what are you talking about? Businesses or houses?
So the couple of places that really stick out, there were.
Don't mention names.
No.
Okay,
not at all.
Thank you.
Of course not. Absolutely professional. There was a retirement home. So
okay,
this one poor old lady was so sweet, and she had dementia, and so she kept walking into her room and going, "Oh no, what happened?" Right? And then I'd have to kind of explain it to her, and then she walked back out, and then she walked back in like 3 minutes later, and she go, "Oh my God, what happened?" And I'm like, "Oh." So then I'm like, "Oh my God, this sucks." She has to keep reliving this.
Did you ever? I mean, did you kind of get it in a condensed like by the end of the day where you're just like, this is what happened, this is what happened?
No, I just kept changing the story. So eventually I got bored of it. So then I was like, well, see, ma'am, there was...
I'm your grandson.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Exactly. There's 70 of us. You were prolific, ma'am. You're like the female version of Abraham. Father Abraham, Mother Abrahamina.
We're married.
Yes.
So you okay? So
no, I just kept telling the same story, but it was good. I mean, she the people that are in charge, that are like supposed to be caring for this woman are like scrambling, because they've got
getting pots and blankets.
Oh, dude, they had full on like Serve Pro people there with all their crazy vacuums and fans, and they were. I mean, because this woman's ceiling completely collapsed.
While she was in there, or no?
No, luckily.
Wow.
But I mean, it was insane. I can't even do it I can't even really. But I mean, yeah, her everything she owned, her entire room, the entire thing was completely soaked. It did damage to the actual structure because the wood underneath
soaked it all
was soaking it up, and it was starting to buckle and do all kinds of weird shit. It was wild.
So then so you're there. How long were you like working just there?
Well, my job is, I mean, it's actually pretty quick. Like I just show up and
you're just inspecting?
Well, the fire department shows up
because
when a fire line breaks, it automatically triggers the fire alarm. Yeah. So they show up, they shut everything off. By the time I get there, I'm just like witnessing all the aftermath. So I locate the broken fitting, whatever it is, and then I fix it, and then I fill the system back up, and I'm like, well, see you later. And
sorry about that.
Yeah. I'm like, hey, so this is an insurance claim, right? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, so... mind if I add a couple more double time hours on this?
You probably had to.
Yeah.
And then are you out of it right now? I mean, like, are you back to normal work? You're not working crazy hours.
Yep. No, back to normal now. Wow. Thank God. Yeah, because and there's only so much of that you can do.
So when you're watching the weather and you kind of know, you're like, all right, looks like we're gonna hit our cold spell, and it's gonna be. I just know that I will be
exactly. Well, what's funny is we got a new guy just like, I don't know, about a year ago, okay? And he's from Los Angeles.
So he's not used to this weather.
No. Not only that, they don't... So it just doesn't freeze in Los Angeles. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't.
I saw a Christmas movie once where it snowed.
Really? So they don't know. Oh yeah, they don't. They just the systems that they have here, because of the freezing weather, are very different.
Yeah.
So there are things about it that you just wouldn't know. So here, this guy happens. So he's in a service van. Okay, if you're in a service van, you have to be on call for 1 week out of every 6 weeks, wherever it is.
Yeah.
He gets it on the freaking dot. He's on call during that absolute shitstorm. And I go, dude, I like texted him. I'm like, look, your life is going to absolutely suck. You're going to want to quit your career, dude.
Yeah.
You're going to want to 10 bar. You're going to want to do anything, but it's going to suck so bad. I go, dude, I'll be here. Call me, right? It ended up being so much worse than that. Like, he called me, and then pretty soon, I've got like 6 calls.
Right.
And I'm triaging. I'm like, okay, are there people in your building? And they're like, well, no, it's a parking garage. I'm like, okay, you're going to have to wait, because I got people losing their houses. So it was really wild. It was the
Did the guy quit?
Ever. No, he made it through.
Was he close?
He made about.
We don't know.
The only thing
he made some money.
He made some serious money,
and it's worth it.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
So what is there any other times of the year other than just complete freeze outs where? Like, is the extreme heat trigger like any sort of them going off weirdly? Like
sometimes, but nothing like the freeze. The freeze is just there's always going to be trapped water in places there shouldn't be, and there's always going to be pipes that are.
So you just know.
You just know.
You
it's coming.
just know.
Oh yeah.
So you're watching that. Now. Are you banking on financially 1 to 2 times every winter? That you're like, it's like a bonus in a sense. You don't like it. You hate your life for that entire week and a half.
Yeah.
But you also know I've already kind of budgeted that this was probably going to happen this
for sure. Absolutely. It's a big part. It's a big part of it.
How long have you been doing it?
15 years.
So has there been any winter where it was pretty mild and nothing really got crazy?
Yeah, I kind of really remember.
Do you remember the year where it was insane? Like, was there a couple years where it was like, when will this winter end?
Oh yeah. Well, there was a year, what was that, like 7 years ago or so, where we actually had the contract for the Seahawks stadium. I think at the time it was Quest Field, and they had a bunch of freeze ups, and they had a game like the next day. It was like Thanksgiving. Wow. And they weren't playing on Thanksgiving, but they're playing like the next Saturday or something like that. And so they were like,
get here
blank
now.
Check. Like we don't care what it takes. I mean, we had like 3 or 4 guys there working like around the clock on Thanksgiving, which is like a double time holiday.
Oh,
obviously.
For sure.
I mean, it was wild, and it kept coming. I would like go home and then they'd get another call and I'd leave again.
Sorry. So and these you worked 90. You said 90 hours in 1 week. I think you said.
Yeah.
What is like? Are you sleeping during the day? Do they want you working there at night, or is it like 24/7? Like you're on call and it don't matter?
Yeah, I mean, you just do what you can. There's really no I wasn't on call, so technically I could have just said screw you to everybody,
right?
But I was trying to be a team player, and so I didn't. But yeah, you really just I like I said, I pulled a couple all-nighters. I just slept when I could.
In the truck kind of a thing?
Yeah. And what's funny is I brought my son with me, too, on one. And then all of a sudden it was like, we get a couple more. And I was like, yeah, I probably should have known better. But then like the second call, too, was at a casino. And I'm like, damn it. So I'm like, okay, buddy, here's the deal. You got to stay in the van.
Wear this mustache for a little bit.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of stupid. It really makes you think like the laws that make it to where kids can't go into certain establishments. It's like it sort of creates
more of a hazard.
Think about how many alcoholics leave their kids out in the car while they're getting bombed.
Right.
That happens a lot. That happens.
Yeah. In fact, that's the only. I don't know if you know this because I looked it up because when your kids get to a certain age, you're like, all right, when can I start leaving these guys legally at home?
Right.
And the only law that Washington State has is you cannot have anyone under the age of 12 left alone in a running vehicle outside of a bar or saloon or something like that.
You really looked that up?
I looked it up, yeah, and that was I just Googled it, and that's the only thing that comes up. People write their articles on it and everything.
Yeah. They're like, hey, sweet parenting, bro. You're like, no.
Listen,
no, I know my rights and I know the law.
yeah, I know they're 6, but they're at home, and there's
Right.
no laws with that. But you get the CPS called on you for some,
Yeah.
but law wise, there's really nothing out there. So did you at any point during that how many days was it? Like,
It was like during New Year's. It was like New Year's Eve. It was
Between Christmas-
basically a whole week, really.
between Christmas ish and then
Yeah, it started basically like the day after Christmas.
Yeah.
And just didn't stop until a couple days after New Year's.
And since you weren't on call and you could have said no, even though you were a team player, was there a day where you just said, I'm getting my sleep?
Yeah, there was. It was I think the second, because
Like right in the middle of it all.
it was the second, and it was like the afternoon of the second. I took a couple calls on the way home from. The casino was way the hell up in like Ferndale too, so that was added. I had to drive all the way up there, and then but yeah, I got home and I really just couldn't function. I was starting to kind of like shut down.
Yeah, you're like,
I can't. If I even try to drive at this point, I'm gonna kill somebody.
So were you at like what? How did you take a full 24? Did you take like an extra like 14 hours to yourself so you could sleep and eat? And
Oh man, what did I can't even remember.
Just a blur?
It wasn't much. Yeah, it was it wasn't any more than 8 or 10 hours, but
it was needed.
oh yeah, and it felt even then it's like you still don't feel quite rested. You need like a couple days to feel normal again, but it was all good.
And so this is why I like the podcast, guys. Like you guys are probably like you guys. I love finding out things about people, about their jobs, especially after something like that. Now, I had COVID during that time. Like the day after Christmas, I got COVID. And then for like 8 days, it just beat the shit out of me.
Really?
Yeah. And I didn't get to enjoy any of the snow. I hated every moment of it. I had 102 temperature, like pretty much for 8 days. It would break and then come back and break and come back, and it was just horrible. It was you forget how to be sick. Like I haven't been sick for like 2 years because I've been away from everybody, working at home, and then all of a sudden you get sick and you're like, oh shoot, that's right. I need to just sleep. I need to just drink orange juice. I need to just just go crazy. So
Did you get the like just the coughsies, or did you get the pukesies and all that?
no pukesies.
Dude, a couple of buddies of mine just threw up
I got
for like 3 weeks straight. I was like, dude, what? I didn't even know that was a part of. I thought COVID was supposed to be a lung thing.
No, that's a flurona. They must have had the big stuff. I had the dumpsies, the diureses, but
I'd still rather have that than
puking is the worst.
Throwing up sucks so bad.
It is, and I don't. You got young kids. Your kids are getting older too. But
yeah,
it's so funny when you have a kid get the pukes for the first time, and like they're like 6, 7 or whatever, and then they puke, and then they think they're all better. Like they're like the whole time, like let's his stomach, and they get the drool going, and they go out, and they get done. Like, well, glad that's done.
Yeah,
and I'm like, bro, you got to buckle up. You may have to sit down for this one. You're gonna be throwing up like probably 4 or 5 more times.
Right.
But after that first time, they're just like,
you got this 5-minute
just
window.
Feel great.
It's total false sense of security.
Yeah, and then just wait, you wait.
My daughter's 12, and she's to the point where, like, her brother said he felt sick in the car, and she's like, stop the car. I got it. Like, she wanted me to stop, and we were going to stop the trip. We were going to, wherever we were doing didn't matter.
In her mind,
and she's just like, I don't care about anything in life except getting the hell out of this car. I will not be in here while he pukes. It's not happening. We're talking of legit phobia. Like, she's scared of. I'm like, dude, I get it. Nobody loves to just be sitting right next to someone as they freaking like that's pretty okay. It's gross.
Yeah,
she was like gonna have a panic attack.
Dude, puking is the absolute. With kids too. the projectile vomit sometimes. It's like, how did that get all the way over there?
Yeah.
Like, I remember I was in my dad was driving a van when I was a teenager. I had like a 4-year-old nephew, or not nephew actually, a cousin, sitting directly behind my dad in like an Aerostar. So there's like a good like 4 feet from this, and he just like exorcist projectile vomited right on the back of my dad's head while he's driving. And
it's a strange strength, right? It's like, how'd you do that? I have a strong stomach. Like, well, you have strong abs. Like, nope, stomach.
Just
it doesn't. There's nothing to do with my core. It's all about, but I can projectile and hit Alf from here.
From over there,
in the
Alf poster.
Yeah.
Hey guys, if you're listening, shoot me your best puke story. I'm always interested in hearing, and I'll read them on whether Ira's with me or not, but I'll put it out on some episode. Yeah,
it's always about where you're at. Is usually
I had to this week actually get that energy back. Like, every day I'm waking up, I'm like, oh man, I feel great. It kind of reminds me when I was like in my teenage years, like when I was like 14. In my head, I was like, man, when I was a 13-year-old, I was such an idiot. But now I'm 14 and I figured out life. And then I turned 15 and I'm like, man, when I was 14, I was such an idiot. But now I'm 15 and I figured out life. And then 16 and forever. Like, even now, I'm like, man, what? I was like 39. I'm in my 40s now. I got to figure it out. But that's how I was when I getting better from COVID. It was just like, I'd wake up like, man, all right, I'm 100%. I feel great. And then the next day I'd wake up feeling even better. And I'm like, man, I guess I really wasn't 100%. And that's how it's been for like 10 days.
Yeah, you forgot your normal.
My normal.
Your baseline, you don't even know what that is anymore.
Exactly. And so now I'm all excited. I'm all amped. I got that energy back. And so I messaged Ira today because my work schedule kind of got a little easier for me to record in the afternoons this week. And so hit you up. Were you off today?
No, sir.
You worked.
Yep.
But a normal shift.
Normal shift.
Coming home, and had nothing going on tonight.
Well, let's not.
It's completely free.
Ira's always got a little bit going.
Nothing at all.
Just let me tell you, wide open.
Just always on call for me.
Yeah.
What? So I don't know. I don't remember the last time we talked, but is there anything new in your life since the last time I'm sure there's a few things, but
well, my daughter being 12 and sort of the like navigating the boy landscape has been very, very so unfortunate. So I have really tried to get my kids to just be able to talk to me. I try to be the guy who I try not to yell. But she won't say any. She is very, very
closed,
tight to the chest. She won't say shit. She won't share anything. And I'm like, dang, you can tell me
at some point as your dad.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not gonna get mad at you for it, but I have to kind of find these little things out, from like siblings or friends or things, and I'm like,
Here, through the grapevine.
Oh, geez, yeah, like she just accidentally showed me her phone or some notification showed up, right? On the old Snapchat, right? So some kid is on there, and if this is your kid,
you're listening right now.
We need to talk because your freaking dumbass kid had the name Daddy on there. So presumably somewhere in the, I don't know, 11 to 13 range, I'm just guessing. Right. So this dickweed is calling himself Daddy. And that term is
You
earned.
may have to sit down for this.
Yeah.
Okay. You may
so
have to
everybody...
But listen.
I know you're thinking this is going in all kinds of different directions.
No, I'm good with it.
Okay.
She could have named him too.
That's exactly the first thing out of her mouth was, that was his name. He chose that name. I didn't say, and I'm like, oh my God, yeah, I freaking. So I'm thinking like, okay, but if he chose that name, that's even so
worse.
Bad for him.
Yes, no.
Like I really hope you never expect to bring this kid around me because I'm going to eat his lunch. So
yeah, make him puke and then eat it.
Yeah, exactly. Puke all it. So the daddy thing, first of all, in the most just literal sense, is reserved for someone who is a father. It's a big deal, right? It's
Right.
totally reserved for that.
Right.
It never means anything else.
Absolutely
Okay?
not. Not
That means
any,
that you're a dad and you have
any-
procreated and you're
Yeah.
nurturing the next generation.
There's no connotations.
No connotations at all. So unless there are, and then yes, let's talk about those connotations. So
It's
then
horrible
there's the
connotations.
other, and that though that
I couldn't
is
even
earned.
imagine
That's
this.
earned even to a higher degree, I would say. Okay, in order for a woman to truly think of you in that way, you gotta really be putting out the old BDE, if you will.
Yes. Okay.
You got to put out the
Right,
energy. You got to be a
right.
confident freaking dude. You got to have your shit together, right? In
Right.
so many different ways. This kid didn't earn
No.
the designation. Okay, that's what I'm most pissed about. Anyone who refers to himself. I remember a guy. I worked with a guy who referred to himself as daddy, and I don't know how any women actually could stand talking to him. Like,
yeah. No, that
that's
would be
so
weird.
gross.
That would be weird. I have tried. I've tried to be called daddy. No, I'm just kidding. I've attempted. No, I'm kidding. I haven't.
You're like, call me daddy, and you're like, no.
No.
And you're like, damn it.
No.
Not
Yeah,
quite
no,
there
that
yet.
whole thing is bizarre. How our like right. I mean, I remember if we're getting into some adult conversation here. Like when I was growing up, the magazines were like big jugs and like like Penthouse or like but now it's like moms.
Yeah.
And like daughters, stepdaughters.
Why
you know?
is that like
Yeah.
all of like
Yeah.
the top 10 most popular
things to
it's all has to do with like step siblings.
And not even that anymore. It's all like dad and mom and then they and
It's
people
all, like,
and
in
that's
the
what
family.
their OnlyFans are, is just like doing these POVs of them just like coaching you through, and you're like, this person sat down, scripted this out. like I know that anyway, it's just it's gotten bizarre. It's gotten super weird.
Dude, it's just there's a fetish out there.
Yeah.
There's
It's crazy.
very, very specific.
Yes.
The niche.
Yeah.
There's
I like
something
how
out
we're
there.
flying kind of close to the not close to the sun, but like we're not coming out and saying some things.
Yeah, no.
When it comes to these titles and stuff, and where like some people are like, oh, they're just talking about the library.
Yeah.
They're just talking about that
Yeah, like when you're in the library, you remember the microfiche, and you had to search for the news articles and do the works cited. God, I hated that.
Gosh.
So, anyways,
But anyway, so let me tell you a story. 12 years old, you got your kid, your daughter. You're trying to be cool, toe the line, be a dad, get the info, be protective. Like it's a Rubik's Cube of just trying to figure out all the colors and get them all lined up.
Absolutely.
So I don't know if I told you this one, but or you heard this story, and I'm sure there's a few few listeners out there that heard this, but I'll just tell you it. So my daughter turned 13. I tell you this one? I don't know.
I don't think so.
She turned 13. Now she's 18, right? Now she's so this is 5 years ago.
I was going to say that's quite that time machine.
Time machine.
Okay.
Yeah, she just turned 13. Now she's 18. But no, she's 18 now. Anyway, yeah, that's crazy. But the 13-year-old, and I found out she had a boyfriend. Like I was told from the ex and a few others, like, oh, by the way, I'm like, oh, really? Like how long? Is that like yesterday? No, it's been like a month and a half to 2 months. She was a little afraid to tell you. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm just like, that's okay. All right. Right. And so
Daddy's calm.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Can I say it Snapchat real quick? So I said, hey, I wanted to be cool with her, and so I'm like, hey, and she's like, I like Kid Cudi. She likes Kid Cudi.
Nice.
Have you heard this story yet? Now is it ringing? Okay, all right.
No.
So I'm like, hey, here comes Cool Dad. It's her birthday. She's gonna turn 14. And Kid Cudi's coming to Seattle. I'm gonna buy all three of us tickets, me, her, and the boyfriend.
Oh.
And so I pick him up that day and meet the parents for the first time. I think I maybe met him once or twice prior, I want to say, but I meet the parents for the first time, shake hands. Oh, so what are you guys gonna go? And here's me, Enum Claw, white guy from almost 40, or was it like what 36? I'm like, Kid Cudi. So anyway,
he's a rapper of sorts.
He's a hip hop artist. So we went to Seattle, and it was at the WAMU Theater. Go in there, weed's legal at that time. Yeah, that was nice Snoop too. And so, but the signs everywhere say, even though marijuana use is legalized in Washington State, it is prohibited at this venue.
Oh, yeah.
But if we're at Kid Cudi's concert, the guy who sings his song, one of his songs called Marijuana, Day and Night, The Lonely Stoner, at least, like there's a lot. I mean, he has lots of references of marijuana. So anyway, we get there, 9,000 sold out tickets, and they got some stands, but if you've bought a ticket, general admission, you can go up to the stage and kind of like grab your spot. So which I did that, and I got her and him. And anyway, right before the concert starts, you see like someone smoke a little puff that goes up into the crazily enough.
But it's not allowed though.
It's not. Yeah, they didn't read the sign. Well, all these red shirts that say alcohol and whatever enforcement. They grab him and then they pull him out and make a big spectacle of this dude.
Really?
Yeah. And then the next thing I know, the lights go off because the concert's going to start. Music goes on, lights go up, and then just everyone's smoking all around. So I realized that guy probably was like in on it. Like he was like, okay, Steve, you're the one tonight that you've got to go.
Sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, you got to go smoke real quick so that it looks like we enforce this around here,
right?
Because they were not enforcing it after that, and it just turned into just so. I mean, you were getting a contact high immediately
for sure.
And so about an hour and a half of the concert, we leave. And kids are like, they're like, let's go to McDonald's, man. And they're like, why don't you get something to drink, man? Water.
I don't know why I need a milkshake. Hella bad.
So my paranoia is kicking in too, because I'm like, oh shoot, dude, I'm gonna take this kid home. He's probably gonna smell like it a little bit. His parents are gonna be like, how was the concert? Oh, it was fun. There's everyone around us was smoking marijuana.
Yeah.
So I was a little paranoid. So I'm driving home.
Like, I'm not going to take him home.
And I'm just, I said, hey, so halfway home, like, hey, so if your parents ask about the whole concert, talk about how fun the music was. And he's like, well, what are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, it's something. I didn't realize that I was going to get as crazy. Oh, you mean the marijuana? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh, the weed? Oh, yeah. No, my parents grow it and sell it. And so then in my mind, I was halfway relieved. And then the other half, where I was just like, wait a second.
Wait.
You're dating my daughter? Yeah. And you're just like, oh, yeah, no big deal. All good.
Yeah, like, hold on a second. I mean, personally, I'd be like, you should be really scared to say that to me. Why are you not? That's the most alarming thing. Probably, I'd be like, whoa, is this guy calling me a bitch right now? Like,
yeah, well, probably because I just spent an hour and a half surrounded it with him, and he probably was like, oh, this guy's, he didn't immediately
I guess.
Out, but
I guess still.
Yeah. So anyway, so let me see if I can give you some daughter advice.
Okay.
No daughter is the same. So any advice I give you is not going to be worth it. So
it should be taken with a grain of salt.
Yeah, just hang on. It is a wild ride. I know that for me, what I've had to just like tell myself is that at some point, as long as you don't F it up, you're going to be the good guy again. And it may not be right away. You might be like 25, 26, 27, or they might be 25, 26, 27. And they may at some point say, hey, Dad, I was an idiot and you knew and you were trying it. And now I realize, I mean, I think that's the key.
I'm sorry. These are your grandchildren. Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Yeah.
But it's, no, it's rough. I really... The boy thing I get, like I don't have any like delusions that I'm gonna somehow just because of my very existence that only the greatest of guys and she's only gonna have the best of relationships and it's only gonna be fair. It's like no, the one thing the one thing that I hope that everybody like that is understood is that like, yeah, she'll get her heart broken and things like that. But if anyone ever like actually like would do anything like hit her or something like that, like somebody's gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
Like die by my bare hands.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
No,
you ever
it's
thought like that? Have you ever?
Yeah, you know, I am a guy that it's rough being a dad because especially when you try to talk and warn and do your best to just kind of protect and it gets ignored or poo-pooed or whatever. You know, yeah, I don't trust guys. And then when something happens, because things have happened, you know, my daughter's now 18. She's had a few years with boyfriends, and there's been broken hearts. There's been, you know, other things that have come out. And so there's a point where you're sitting there and you're just going, man, like, I know that I've always said in my head, I'm going to be the one that, you know, is going to go ape. But I didn't go ape. And I don't know why. Like, is it because, and then so you kind of work through that. Like, you have the conversations, you definitely take it completely seriously. I mean, I had a few sessions with some counseling and stuff like that. Nothing that I did, but just like, how do I handle this as a dad, you know? And so, it's hard. It is hard. You think about those things. The other thing is that sometimes your kid can, just like anyone, yeah, they're bullheaded, you know, and you warn them, and so then sometimes they have to kind of learn it the hard way, like we all have, and as a dad, you just do your best to pick up the pieces afterwards, and just be the dad there.
I think that's generally the attitude that I have is like to give her the respect that like, hey, I mean, you can make your own decisions. They're not always going to be right, but it's like, hey, I got to let you live your own life to some degree. It's like, dude, I mean.
Right.
And I think that in the end, it's like, you know, in the end, I'll always be here, you know, and that's really, I think the biggest thing. It's like, I'm the cornerstone. Like you can always, you know,
right.
I'm not free. These guys, I mean, they may come and go, and it's like,
but I'm here.
Don't want to hear that, but I'll be here.
You know, I think we have this thing. It's the kids have it at the beginning. It's that perfect. It's the Superman. The kids see their parents and they're like, they're so smart, they're so tough, they're so cool, and they're perfect. And then as they grow up, they see you stub your toe and cuss and bang your hand on a wrench and you make a dumb decision. And so they see all that, and that Superman starts to go away. It almost kind of like flip-flops, because then whether it's your own self going like, well, I've raised these perfect kids, and then they go out into the world, they hit junior high and high school, and we've all been there too. You get the zit, you learn that you need to start wearing deodorant because you smell like a Whopper with extra onions. Like there's a lot of things that as a teenager you're starting to learn, but as a parent you start to see, oh, like, my kid was really good at coloring in the lines, but they drive all over the sidewalk. Like there's like they stop becoming perfect too.
Sure.
So it kind of flip flops. It's like you realize your kids aren't perfect.
You start to really like get to some age and you're like, dude, you're not gonna go to the NBA like I thought.
Exactly.
You're gonna have to study.
Right. You're gonna have to study. That's huge.
Yeah.
A lot, you know, kids, some kids pick things up so quick. And I remember my daughter and son, math was just it for them. And then they hit junior high. And then it just was like, wait a second.
Yep.
And then they had a tough time, and they actually had to learn rather than just coast, because they were coasting through multiplication and division in elementary school. They understood it, they got it, they get it. And then you start hitting algebra and geometry, and then you're like, okay, now I got to start figuring some things out.
You miss like a couple of 30 seconds of what your teacher says, and you fall behind and you can never catch back up again. That's what's so frustrating about math.
Yeah,
it's like, dude, you miss one little stepping stone, and
you're trying to figure that out forever.
Yeah, no, you need tutors.
That's why you need Common Core. I'm kidding.
You need the internet.
So that's the other thing. Remember that? Remember when your teacher was like, you know, you're not gonna have a calculator on. It's like, I've got everything. I've got right now.
We have so many.
I got everything on this phone right now.
Yeah.
Everything.
Matter of fact, I can hire a CPA
Right now.
So there.
I
I don't have to do
You
anything.
got a CPA in your pocket?
Yeah.
Are you just happy to
Happy
see
to
me?
see me.
Oh, dude.
Saw that one coming.
That was a good one. All right, real quick. So we're gonna do maybe one more episode after this, if you're okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
I know you got a busy night tonight.
Always. That's
but
okay.
do you want to save the racing conversation? Because it looks like that you're starting to enter into it, but I don't want it to become a 20-minute conversation. I want to save it. Could it be a 20-minute conversation on the next episode? Or is it like, I feel like it's a lot going on.
I never know. You know me. I never really know. It all just kind of comes out. But yeah, we can make it that, or I can.
Yeah, you know what? Let's just end it here. We're at the 40-minute mark. Typically, people are done with their dishes, their laundry, their drive for where they're going, and then we'll just hit the next episode up.
We'll pick it back up.
All right, everyone.
Turn it up.
Thanks so much for listening. Think of a name. We had some good ones.
Yeah.
My wife just texted me. I forgot that I can actually search our texts, right? Like you can search keywords because I have an iPhone that's going to get an update tonight again for the billionth time.
I'm starting to think that iPhones are bullshit, by the way.
Yeah, me too.
It really is. I don't know. They're getting less. These fancy new phones, they come with less and less. Nowadays, you don't even get the damn charging box thing. You just get a cord. And they're like, well, no, you just have to go like buy the box. And you're like, dude, I bought the phone. You can't. Yeah. So now I got to go find a box somewhere?
Yeah.
What is this? You're Apple. And they're like, yeah, exactly, bitch. We're Apple.
By the nuts.
Mm-hmm.
They have you by the nuts. Okay, here we go. I found it.
Okay.
Invest in IRA. So it's invested in IRA.
Yeah, it's a pun on the investment, the most boring investment account you can possibly get. Okay.
It is the most boringest.
I'm pretty sure. Other than life insurance.
But just think of all the people that would listen that are probably just like over stockbrokers and stuff like that.
When are the stock tips coming? We're just like buttholes and puke.
Buttholes and puke. Let's see, and then invest in IRA. Okay, double meaning. I like that. But anyway, yeah. So I like. Maybe what if we did something? Every episode was like a different subject with IRA in it. We're going irate, and it's talking about, it's like where it's your like vent of the week. Like you're just frustrated about something. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we can go, I don't know. Irrational thought. It's your.
Irrational.
I don't know. It just seems like actually you sound very angry in this. A lot of the going irate, irrational thought, irritated.
I'm trying to think what drugs I could take to get me mad, but I mean, drugs typically make you have. I'd have to come down off of some drugs, maybe.
Potter.
Sure.
Yeah. See, I got some ideas. I don't know.
I like it.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great week, Ira. It's great having you on.
Thanks,
man. And love the stories.
Thank you.
Do you have a notebook next to you that you could just like write some of the? You got a phone.
Always.
Well, you got a calculator and now you got.
I'm
notes.
at number 17 right now. I have topics, baby.
Oh, are you kidding me?
All the time.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Rants, buddy.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great week, Ira. You too.
Welcome
Thanks, man.
to the greatest of the greatest, a podcast that you never knew you needed, with interviews from people you have never met, or maybe you have once or twice, asking questions and knowing more than you want to know about them. You are listening to Full Buddy Cast.